Hello folks, and welcome to Cloud Label Service, or CLS. Let me begin with a recent survey of supply chain and manufacturing professionals when asked specifically about labeling. 92% reported that they are forced to interrupt operations to reprint labels. 47% said that they experienced downtime from labeling disruptions, leading to significant costs in the manufacturing process. Over 45% said that they had issues with speed, and over 84% said that they had trouble meeting customer-specific requirements. We have been implementing and building supply chain solutions for over a decade and a half now, and have seen firsthand the issues with labeling. For something that is such a fundamental unit of the supply chain, it has been a point of pain for many of our customers. It is a significant source of hidden costs that is not sufficiently appreciated or addressed. The costs of not getting labels right are significant. In the food industry, labeling is the number one reason for recalls. 53% of med-device recalls are due to labeling or packaging issues. For our customers that deal with Walmart, Amazon, or Target, the cost of non-compliance can be severe. $5 per label plus $165 per shipment. Reverse logistics can add up to 3 to 4% of an enterprise's costs, and, in a post-COVID world, are going to grow up drastically. About 30% of items that are bought online are returned, and there's nothing more frustrating and time-consuming to a warehouse worker than when a box shows up with some returned product and insufficient documentation. It's worth looking at the labeling supply chain as it exists today to see why these costs persist. One of the core issues is that labeling software has not kept up with the demands of a changing world. There are multiple different label ecosystems, each working in its own silo, with scant attention to template control, collaboration, and business process orchestration, which leaves businesses to kind of have to build their own label infrastructure. In other words, all different partners involved in the supply chain tend to operate independently when it comes to labeling. In a typical flow, the owner, either the owner of the product or the purchasing entity, designs a label using one of the label design softwares available. They go through their own internal approval process, which may involve regulatory compliance and so forth. Once the label is designed, they then create a manual design guide for their suppliers. The suppliers then use that guide and their own version of labeling software to recreate the label. Then, they print and send it back to the company for validation. As you can imagine, all of this takes quite a bit of time, especially if you extrapolate to hundreds of suppliers and multiple labels. Even then, you are not guaranteed that a supplier may not inadvertently make changes to the label, or is working on an earlier version of the label. All these problems then show up at your dock door. When it comes to interfacing with carriers, you have to deal with yet another labeling infrastructure, either by using standalone carrier shipping terminals, or by spending the time and effort to integrate with the carrier systems or some sort of manifesting software. Finally, returns. Companies like Amazon, Walmart, or Google that have sophisticated e-commerce operations simplify the reverse logistics flow for their customers. But a lot of core manufacturing customers do not have anything resembling that flow. Too often, it is a manual, cumbersome process, both for the customers and the companies in question. At this point, you may be wondering how Cloud Label Service can solve all of these issues. We do this by enabling a supply chain collaboration network specifically for labels. First, CLS helps you to centralize and manage all of your labels and collaborate with suppliers. Now let's take a look inside Cloud Label Service. Label owners would continue to design labels in their design tool of choice. Once a label is created, users can validate, test, and publish to their internal users and to external suppliers by uploading the label to Cloud Label Service. And now, because everyone is working off of one central source of truth, you can make changes to your label and be sure that everyone is instantaneously working off the latest revision. No redesign, no additional quality approvals. The label is now ready to be used, and you know it's the correct version. CLS allows for label configurations such as applying unique or read-only tags to variable fields, or creating serialization rules with prefixes and suffixes. It also helps you to automate label creation. We provide a powerful rules engine that allows you to enforce compliance rules, enable serialization, as well as orchestrate and automate business processes. Once a label is uploaded and the configurations and rules are validated, it can be shared with internal groups and external suppliers. CLS provides various capabilities for both internal users and suppliers to print one-off labels, mass print labels using a CSV upload process or web services, and receive data from many sources to enrich label data with the templates themselves. In this case, we'll see a supplier using a mass upload CSV file. Because of the unique flag for the weight field in label configurations, the supplier is given an error message so that they know that their CSV file must be edited and re-uploaded to fit the compliance rules.
Once the label information is put in and verified, users can download the PDF, share the label with the information, or print one or more labels. Printers can be added and managed from the Printer tab.
Our Web Service tab allows you to map out fields to the XML passed by business processes performed in your host system. You can also use built-in adapters to carriers, allowing you to seamlessly generate shipping labels from FedEx, UPS, and other carriers. Returns can be streamlined with the customer being sent the appropriate RMA documentation as well as shipment labels, making the whole process much less frustrating. Our goal is to ensure that when you use CLS, both internal users and your suppliers have the right templates to apply the right data, so that when a product shows up at your dock door, you can be confident that it will be labeled correctly. Every inventory item/SKU has an applied label cost. Applied cost is the sum of all the labeling costs, transportation costs, and the costs of obsolescence, excesses, IT, and returns. With CLS, you could be up and running in days, depending on your complexity, and reduce your applied cost by 30% or more.
Cloud Label Service also works with a variety of host systems, including Oracle SCM Cloud, Cloud WMS, and EBS. Thank you for watching. Please contact us by emailing info@cloudlabelservice.com or visit our website, cloudlabelservice.com.